It is.
So Kerry, tell us, it was such a fun event. I was so excited. I was like, I got to get them on Giving is Good. I got to get this story out there because, how many of my buddies could and couples could we just invite and people go, yeah, I'll take $100, go drink a beer and donate, right?
It's a pretty simple model.
Yeah.
It started actually back in early 2016.
Okay.
Myself and kind of the person who kicked off our chapter here, Anthony Harris, we both saw an article on WFAA, and it was about 100 men who give a damn. Mm-hmm. And the original chapter started in Canada, so this organization is actually international.
Really? No idea.
And I'll say it's a loosely coupled organization. We're not a charity. We're not a 501c3.
Right.
We're just a collection of guys,
right,
and women in Fort Worth. And so we both saw the same article on the news, and we both had the idea, hey, this looks like a great model for Tarrant County.
Yeah.
He was probably a couple of weeks ahead of me, getting things formed, and I actually found him kind of at a last minute and ended up at the first meeting. So our first meeting was in May of 2016. So we've met every quarter since then. We've given to 16 local charities over those quarters, and also right at 4 years. And we've given a little over $144,000.
$144,000.
Yeah, so $144,000. So we're hoping, obviously, we'll hit 150 by the time we hit our May meeting. And it's all word of mouth, pretty much. I mean, we've got a website which we can provide a link to, and it's really word of mouth. I mean, I've probably gotten 30 to 40 people there.
Yeah.
And then each of our members invites their buddies at work, their friends, and it's a really great way for us to just spend a couple hours once a quarter. Everybody comes, as you said, brings $100. We have kind of an informal nominating process, although we have a standard form that we go through, and we have an organizing committee that kind of vets the charity. Make sure they're local in Tarrant County. They're based in Tarrant County. They serve Tarrant County. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And they have to be a 501c3, of course.
They have to be able to accept the funds.
Correct. And we take 3 out of the pots. We just draw numbers every quarter. We take 3 of them, bring them in, ask them to spend 5 minutes talking about their organization.
Right.
Kind of pitch, the elevator pitch to a group of guys, and as you said, then we vote and we give out tokens, and everybody just drops them in the cans, and we're done. And it's a great way to kind of network with everybody around Fort Worth. The cross section of people.
Yeah, talk about the demographic of who shows up.
So it's a little bit of everything. So we've got retired people like myself now. We've got plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, lawyers, doctors, judges,
right?
Business leaders across Fort Worth.
Yeah.
A little bit of everybody, and so it's a great way to spend a little time networking as well,
right?
With the people around Fort Worth. And we come out and we meet at Roar Brewery. It's kind of been our home port all 4 years, so
which is very laid back.
It is.
It's a huge. I mean, it's just kegs, and they have a bar, and it's kegs, and it's not fancy, and there's taps everywhere, and it's a metal building. I mean, it's classic.
It's really a great place to meet.
Yeah.
It's very relaxed. Everybody seems to know how to get there.
Right.
Anybody that's been in Fort Worth for a while has probably taken the Roar Brewery tour.
Yeah.
But they've been very gracious in giving us that space and that time. We just take care of the bartenders, and they take care of us. And we come out, we drink a few beers, and we raise some money for charity.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a great model, and like I said, we start about 6. We're usually done by 7:30, and it's a great, quick way to give back to our community.
I invited a buddy that runs an electrical company. All right, so he's an executive type. And then when I was there, I saw a buddy who owns an insurance company. And then there was a gal that my wife and I know, and she runs a copier company. So you're around people from every type of industry, and I think it's just because it's so easy and simple that. So I invited a bunch of my friends, and they were like, it was such short notice, a lot of them couldn't come, and they were like, I'm in next time, because I said, okay, you're going to go drink a beer and just bring $100.
Exactly.
And once a quarter, I mean, like you said, a lot of people can give $400 a year. It's not a huge commitment, and it's super easy. And when you bring that many people together, you are making a big difference in a nonprofit, charity, ministry, 501c3 locally, and you can benefit a lot of people in a very short amount of time, and do something really good.
Exactly. I think, looking back to the last couple of years, there's been a couple of relatively small startup charities in Tarrant County. And I know at one of these meetings, I think it was in late 2018, we gave $11,000. So we had 110 men represented. $11,000 to a local charity whose annual budget was $36,000.
Wow. 1/3 of their budget almost.
1/3 of their budget in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really generate that type of income for someone with any other kind of event, in an hour and a half.
Yeah. The amount of money that it would take for a lot of these nonprofits and charities to generate that kind of money, they would end up spending $2,000 or $3,000, whether it be a big sit-down dinner, please give me your money type environment. They would spend a bunch of money to get probably 6 or 7 of that 11, right? And in this environment, everybody comes with $100, and they know what the gig is, and I didn't know really what to expect the first time. So when they told me we're going to be voting and figuring out who to get, I was thinking, are people going to boo? What happens here? But you get there, and the first nonprofit speaks, the first charity speaks, and people clap, and they ask questions because they want to know, hey, tell us more, because they're delivering. And some of these are smaller groups. They may not be up in front of crowds of 100 and something people, 200 people at a time. So speaking in that environment is sometimes a little uncomfortable if you don't do that normally. So you had a lot of people jump in and ask simple questions, and you could see people warming up to the crowd, and I think that probably certainly helped. And I enjoyed the questions, and you'd have people ask about, hey, what's your annual budget? And you'd have people go, 25,000, and then you would know everybody's going, golly, we can make a huge difference here. And there were some bigger ones. There were some groups that make a big difference, but it's so interesting to watch that unfold.
It is. I think one of the things that has been a side benefit for each one of these is we've had some members who have had their heartstrings pulled so hard that they've now become engaged with those charities.
Interesting.
In some cases we have members who are already on boards and involved in the charities. In some cases they're now involved with them because they see the need that's being addressed through their charity. So we've had a lot of, I like to think that we've really kind of put the light on a lot of these small charities in Tarrant County and gotten more people engaged.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool thing to see.
Yeah, you're educating, right?
Correct.
You're helping to motivate. It's a little bit about what we do on Giving is Good. We are showcasing, we're trying to make sure that people have the ability to find all of these people doing incredible things that so many people have no idea even exist.
Right.
And what you guys do, hey, if you get a chance, the need is real simple. Just bring $100. I mean, this ain't rocket science. Drink a beer. You don't have to drink a beer, but just to come and hang out. We met a couple of people just standing there, just having the discussion, and you would hear people kind of have side conversations. They'd be talking about the charity that was speaking, and you'd hear people go, "Oh, yeah, that's interesting," So they were truly starting to understand what some of these people do, and that education really, will help people find other people to get involved with.
Yeah, it really is. And I think, I'll put a plug in. So our next meeting is May 12th.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a pretty standard schedule. It's the second month of every quarter, and it's the second Tuesday of that month.
Okay. Second and second. Second Monday or second month.
Of a quarter.
Okay.
Second Tuesday of the
Second
month.
Tuesday. All right, that's easy.
It's pretty easy, and we keep those dates out there. I think one of the things that's good about giving is you are putting the publicity for all of these organizations, whether they are, quote, 501c3s or not.
Yeah.
We are not. We're just a loosely coupled group of guys.
Right.
We have a core group of about 6 to 8 guys that take charge of collecting the money and keeping track of people that attend and keeping our communications out in email and Facebook and our website. But we are not a 501c3, so don't come thinking you're going to give money to 100 men who care.
Exactly, that's a good point.
Give a damn.
Yeah.
You're going to give it directly to the charity.
Yeah. And there's a big check at the end.
Yeah, we have
the big picture, the big huge check,
big Mickey Mouse check.
Yeah.
Write it all out, which is kind of cool.
It's fun,
just for the pictures. But and from there, it's we have the charities provide receipts, that we can email out to our members. Some are pretty picky about getting those, so we make sure that everybody gets them. And it's really just something that you can get involved for an hour and a half 4 times a year.
And make a real difference.
Yeah, you're talking about 6 hours for a year.
Just because there's enough people
Exactly.
enough people giving that small of amount makes a collective that really makes a difference.
Yeah, it's a great way to, it's almost like a grassroots kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
To give to organizations.
What's your vision? What would you like to see for 100 Men Who Give a Damn throughout the year, next year? How big do you think it could get if you could get enough exposure?
Well, I think the difficult part for us is really keeping people engaged. Mm-hmm. We've got a great group of guys. I've got 200 people that we have emails for that have been to past meetings. Mm-hmm. Life gets in the way sometimes.
Sure.
And they don't come to the meetings. We have a lot that don't come to the meetings. I've got a couple that have never been to a meeting, but they always make sure they get us their $100.
That's funny.
Which is pretty cool.
They support it.
They support
obviously
it. They
support
like
it.
the idea.
They just haven't had the time.
It just doesn't work into their schedules,
Sure.
And we get that. I mean, with kids and basketball and baseball and football, and it's hard to get there sometimes. I think for us, consistently getting 100 people donating and showing up to the meetings would be great.
Yeah.
We've rarely, I think we've hit 100, an actual 100, 3 or 4 times in the 4 years.
Okay.
We have a pretty consistent core group of about 60 to 70 guys that donate, show up. And then we always have this ebb and flow of people that don't come anymore, new people coming in.
People just sending in their money.
Yeah, some people just sending in their money. And, so I think really what we'd like to see is to get to that 100 level and continue to stay there for a while.
Right.
Because we know that $10,000 is a great amount of money to make an impact to a local charity. I would love to change the name to 1,000 Men Who Give a Damn.
Right.
I would love to have that problem where we
Yeah.
have overflow capacity at RAR and we have to figure out.
They have to open up the garage bay doors and people are
Exactly.
standing outside.
Yeah, we'll do it in the parking lot in
Yeah.
the back where they
Yeah.
have plenty of room. I'd love to have that problem. I think we all would. But I think it's really just hitting those marks. If I look forward 5 years from now, I'd love to say that, we've given $500,000.
You're headed there.
We're hitting 150 now after
Yeah.
4. So hitting 500 by the time we hit 10 years, that would be a good goal for us to hit. I mean, I'd love to blow that out of the water too. So
Sure.
you talked about it very briefly. We actually have a joint meeting. So every year we kick off kind of second chance.
Okay.
February's supposed to be second chance for love, right? Or maybe it's just a celebration of your love for whoever you've got in your life. But we call it second chance for the charities because we do that joint meeting with 100, and I'll make a small correction. It's 100 women who care Fort Worth. Not,
Okay.
They let us have the give a damn.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
They
They want to soften it up.
They want to soften it up a little
I
bit.
get it.
But we do a joint meeting with them in February. So it allows the gentlemen in our group to bring their spouse, significant
Yeah.
other, and for the women to bring their spouse, significant other. And so we have this big joint meeting. And we've consistently hit $15,000 the years that we've done those, so the last 3 years. And, I think that's a good way for men and women,
Yeah.
couples to really get engaged as well. And I think we've had that exposure both from the women's side and the men's side. Hey, this looks pretty cool.
Simple. It's
I
fun.
haven't been there before, but
Yeah.
let me go do this once a month
Right.
or once a quarter, which is really nice. I think I'd like to see us and the women both grow to, consistently over 100 every time.
I think when you have that joint, sometimes in a marriage, people, you have a husband dragging his wife to do something. You have a wife dragging her husband to do something. To me, this was like, I looked at my wife and I said, hey, you want to go have a beer and we're going to give away $200? You give 100 and I give 100? She's like, yeah. There was no second thought. It was like, sure, why not?
Okay.
So it was very easy.
It's a great model.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is there growth potential for other chapters? Will there be other counties? Talk about, are people approaching you saying, hey, we'd like to do this in Tyler. We'd like to do this in other places. Since you're here locally and, there's a lot of people that in business that are starting to find out about this. So are you getting some exposure?
I am, and I think the organization is, it's a great model. So the word of mouth. So in the last 3 months, I've already had 3 different conversations. And in fact, I'm having one later today with a gentleman who is wanting to start one up in Collin County.
Perfect.
So you hit Plano, Allen, McKinney, Frisco, all up in that area of town, up in North Dallas. So they're looking at starting one. There's one in Dallas now. 100 Men Who Give a Damn Dallas. I think we discussed one in Arlington potentially.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting because I've got a good friend who is part of our group, and he had a buddy that was in town last November, and they came to the meeting. Well, he's in Tampa, Florida.
Perfect.
I spent multiple hours on the phone with him talking about how to start up the organization and how it works. And he's working on organizing one in Tampa, Florida.
It's interesting that for conceptually business-minded or mission-minded businesses, businesses that are maybe looking for a way to give back, to be able to sponsor something so simple. And maybe it's not at a brewery, maybe they bring the brewery to their facility,
Right.
you know, and they just want to have something that they do for the community. You know, it's such a simple thing to do that there are a lot of opportunities for mission-minded businesses to be able to do this, because I believe there are a lot of businesses out there that go, man, I would really like to do something. We're so busy, we don't know what to do. But I mean, once a quarter, invite 100 or 200 people to come to your maybe you have a big enough office area where you could, put out some kegs and say, hey, we're going to have a beer. We got nonprofits coming in. We're going to give $100. I mean, that's so easy.
It's a great model, and it's so simple, and it's so quick and so easy. I'm usually there 5 o'clock, making sure we got everything taken care of at RAR.
Right.
It's a whirlwind until 7:30, and then it's like, now what?
Yeah, everybody's gone.
Yeah, everybody's gone, and it's like, okay, well, time to get prepped for the next quarter.
Yeah.
It's it really is a quick way to engage people. You talked about businesses. We have a couple of businesses, turnkey construction. So we have a gentleman who heads that up, and they sponsor the food. So, the hot dogs and brats
they were cooking
that
hot
there,
dogs and stuff. Yeah,
we don't charge our members for those. We typically have someone who sponsors that every time, and make sure that we try to keep the guys fed while they're there, at least a quick bite, before they get home.
Yeah,
because a lot of them are coming straight from work to there.
Yep.
And so those little sponsorships and partnerships with our local companies help out too. Every time we do this, so
it's fantastic.
It's a great partnership, kind of across the whole community of Fort Worth and Tarrant County.
I think the easiest way to say what y'all need, because giving is good, is about, finding the needs of these individuals, of people doing all these incredible things. 100 Men Who Give a Damn just have the need of people coming and showing up, and bringing your $100 and inviting your friends or buddies, and come have a drink, a beer, a water, a tea, whatever your drink is.
Exactly.
Have a drink, bring $100, listen to what some of these people are doing. It's too simple. Invite your friends. I believe people will thank you for letting them know about it, just because people really enjoy it, So I think the need is just, hey, come on out.
Come on out.
Right?
Bring your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring your brother-in-law.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Bring your dad, everybody.
Yeah, just come hang out. Kerry, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. I hope we find some more people and we bring you guys a little exposure, and we're able to bring an extra 100 men who give a damn, and they come and have fun and enjoy it, and start to learn about what some of these people are doing all over, Tarrant County, and how much they're making a difference.
Fantastic.
Man, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And scene. Perfect. Thank you, sir.